Tonight's show, he is a Cleveland Indians beat writer, Zack Meisel. So, Zack, how are you doing today?
Not too bad, Alex. How are you?
Good. So, do you have an update for us about the Michael Brantley injury?
Well, he would love to be back by opening day, but I don't think that's too realistic. He was back in Cleveland over the weekend. He worked out with his teammates. Played catch. He did everything but take batting practice. That's kind of the last big hurdle before he can have a normal spring training. I think we're looking at maybe late April, sometime in May for Brantley. But he's going to set opening day as his dream scenario, and I think the Indians will be happy just to get him back 100% sometime before June.
So what exactly was his injury?
He had a torn labrum in his shoulder, his right shoulder, which is good and bad news because he suffered it diving for a ball in Minnesota in September, and he missed the last 10 days of the regular season. And so the thing with him is fielding, throwing, it's no problem there because he's left-handed. The problem is it's with his batting because that's his lead shoulder. That's really what's driving his swing, and you can't really do it unless that shoulder is completely healthy.
So Mike Napoli joined the Cleveland Indians last season. So what does a player like Mike Napoli add to this team?
Well, that's a good question because he had a weird year last year where he really struggled in Boston, and then he picked things up in Texas. The Indians, they have historically been pretty bad against left-handed pitching, at least in recent history, and Napoli's a better hitter against lefties than righties. The Indians are not going for them. He's better defensively at first base than Carlos Santana is, so he'll boost that infield defense, which is important because you've got great defense at short with Francisco Lindor. Giovanni Urshela at third base is a pretty good defender as well, so you're helping out your pitching staff, which is really the strength of the team. So I think, they probably aren't hoping that Napoli hits 30 home runs and plays 160 games because he is 34 years old. He's had injury problems in the past. I think they're really just hoping that he can play consistently for them, hit left-handed pitching, and really anything else is a plus.
So during the season, do you see any possibility of seeing some top prospects as a call-up during the season like Brantley, Zimmer, and Clint, Frazier?
It's possible. I would say Zimmer is probably more ready at this point than Frazier is. The Indians did not extend a spring training invite to either, so they'll be playing with the minor league clubs during spring training. That's all that means is that neither guy was going to break camp with the big league club, but it does mean that these guys still need some seasoning in the minor league. They'll probably both start at Double-A. I think you could see Zimmer move to Triple-A around June if he's healthy and playing well. And, maybe if the Indians need another outfield lift, if they don't like what they see on the trade market in July, maybe Zimmer's that guy and he helps them down the stretch. But he would have to make a pretty big jump this year to help them.
So the Indians are called one of the greatest pitching rotations in the American League. So how would you grade this starting rotation?
It's very good. I think the thing that separates it from, does it have the potential to possibly be the best in the big leagues? Sure. I think the Mets are better, and maybe there's a couple other teams, but if guys keep taking a step forward and nobody regresses, which usually is not the case, then they do have one of the best staffs in the big leagues. Corey Kluber has done it 2 straight years. Carlos Carrasco was phenomenal last year, and he stands to get better. Danny Salazar took a big step forward last year. The wild card to me is Trevor Bauer. We've been waiting on him for a couple of years now to turn the corner. If he does, that's 4 legitimate, young, strikeout guys who strike out 200 in a season, and they're all signed long-term and for not much money. So the Indians are in a pretty good position when it comes to starting pitching.
Okay, last question here before we wrap up this interview. I have my Jason Kipnis bobblehead here that I got at Progressive Field last summer. So how do you think Kipnis is going to do this year? Do you think his injuries are healed going into the season?
Yeah, he's done a shoulder program for the last couple months this off season. with his trainer in Chicago, and he says he's fully healthy. The question to me is, he batted leadoff for pretty much the entire year last year, and he had a good year. He made the All-Star team. Mm-hmm. The question is, I don't think he's going to hit leadoff this year. I think you're going to see some of Rajay Davis in there. I think you'll see Francisco Lindor up there. I think the Indians are going to need him to be a run producer in the middle of the lineup, and maybe he'll hit third. So the question to me is, yeah, he's healthy. He's definitely one of the team's best hitters. But this is a lineup that lacks some punch, so will Kipnis be able to provide it in the middle of the order? That remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Zach, thank you for coming on. Where can people find you on Twitter, and where else can they find you?
I'm on Twitter at Zack Meisel, ZackMeisel. Mm-hmm. You can find my work at cleveland.com. I've got a Facebook page and all that fun stuff as well.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Zach, and hope to talk to you during this baseball season.
Sounds good, Alex. Thank you.